This is a $10 million telehealth brand, and I'm Werner Brander. I run GrowthTrigger, and we've generated over $60 million for telehealth and e-commerce subscription businesses over the past 2 years. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how we grew this brand's email conversions by 200% plus in just 3 months. And no, it wasn't by sending more newsletters or writing better subject lines. When this brand came to us, they were dealing with problems most telehealth teams know all too well. An email agency that didn't understand the patient journey, zero real segmentation across treatments or patient stages, no pop-ups to capture qualified leads before the questionnaire, generic unpersonalized email flows, and a newsletter that existed but wasn't driving growth. And as a result of all of this, stagnant conversions and constant internal micromanagement, we rebuilt their entire lifecycle system so email started converting patients automatically without adding more work for the internal team. And in this video, I'll walk you through exactly how we did it, starting with the most foundational lever, which is segmentation. Now, getting into how we actually helped this brand grow by more than 200% in just 3 months. First of all, segmentation. So this is the groundwork for good email marketing. And let me just start by saying what was broken or what wasn't optimized in their setup before we came on board. First of all, the previous agency didn't split up patients based on conditions or based on treatment categories as much as we would want to, considering that in the telehealth, pretty much every different treatment you have is serving a totally different purpose and comes with totally different pain points and dream outcomes. Also, the weight loss patients got the same emails as hair loss patients, kind of like what I explained here, between the different categories and segmentation between those. And there was less conversion because messaging wasn't relevant. So that's the first point regarding the segmentation. Now, how we fixed this issue, how we improved on the situation, by creating treatment and interest-based patient segments for their different categories. So longevity, weight loss, testosterone, and the other categories they had. And these categories that we created, these segments we created, then fed into all of our flows and campaigns. So we were able to tailor the content, the copywriting, the design and everything to each patient's pain points. So from longevity segment, we send longevity focused campaigns, then we send, longevity customized and personalized flows. Same thing for weight loss segment, same thing for TRT, and then for the other categories as well. And this is something that I just made a full funnel breakdown of HIM's funnel, and this segmentation is something they also do super well. Here's an example from that video, basically how the actual questionnaire leads to the segments inside their email service provider and how that leads into the personalized emails for each of these segments. So if you're curious about this, you have access to this document, you're watching this video, so we'll link the video in here as well, so you can check out the HIM's funnel breakdown and find a little bit more about this topic. Now, second thing after segmentation is lead collection. So if you don't get this contact information of the customer, the time they land on their website, or of the prospective customer or patient, you just simply can't sell them. So what was broken in the old setup, exactly related to this, the old agency had implemented zero pop-ups. So obviously in telehealth, there's 2 ways to grow the list. There's the health questionnaire, which everyone has to take, but then that's mainly only for the warmest leads. So what happens if they don't have the intent high enough yet to actually go into the questionnaire? You want to have another way to collect emails from them before they leave the site forever, because otherwise you're not going to be able to retarget them, cost them to pay for the marketing. So because they didn't have these pop-ups in place, they were pretty much spending money on ads, but not capturing these leads on their website, and they were bleeding qualified leads every single day. Now, how we fix this? First off, obviously by adding the pop-ups, not just collecting emails or phone numbers, because anyone will do that anyway in the health questionnaire, but obviously also capturing the primary health goal for every visitor. So this is pretty much what the old list code looked like. There was just, what is your primary health goal? And then depending on the category, they were able to pick it from here. But this was the only part. There was only the health intake, and this only captures the warmest leads who already know that they want to, activating the treatment. What is new, what we implemented after we came on board, is the actual website pop-up to capture those who are not yet ready to start the intake, who are not high intent leads yet. We don't want those people to just leave. We want to get their information, we want to get their goal, and then based on that we can start to nurture them with email communication, leading them down towards the bottom of the funnel when they eventually get into the questionnaire and buy the treatment. And this is just an example from one of our clients, this pop-up here, but with something like this, for this specific client I'm explaining here, we were able to add 5,000 subscribers per month to their list after implementing these pop-ups, leading to 25% more. So this is a pretty significant difference. And all of these leads were somebody that you already paid for, and we were still able to convert them after they came through this funnel. So if we didn't have the pop in place, those leads most likely would have just left the site completely, never came back. You would have needed to spend front-end spend all over again to catch those customers again. But now we had their email, now we had their SMS, so we were able to retarget them and eventually move them towards the bottom of funnel and conversion. And here you can see, so basically from the questionnaire and then from the pop-up, we were able to then segment these people to the different treatment segmentations that we already explained. So different ones for longevity, for weight loss, for TRT, and for so on. So then from these segments that we created and we utilized here, we were then able to feed these profiles straight from the pop-up, straight from the health intake into these different treatment categories in the first step here. And obviously the downstream effect from something like this, they were no longer wasting ad dollars, they were capturing the leads, they were actually able to retarget those leads effectively with email, cost efficiently with email. Obviously they got way more emails to sell to every single month, and this effect just keeps compounding the longer we keep this on. Leads are admitting their own pain point inside the pop-up, inside the health intake, and then this obviously also helps us personalize the content for them and way more email revenue and total sales and profit for you compared to not having this kind of setup in place. Now, step number 3 is the flows. So what do we do with these neatly segmented subscribers after we've been able to segment them into these treatment categories? With their old email automation, there was some missing points, completely missing points, and then some missing points about the personalization per se. So first of all, no personalized welcome flow. They didn't have anything like that in place. They didn't in fact have any welcome flow in place because they also didn't have the front-end pop-ups. So what we did as the first thing for them, we built the front-end pop-ups to capture those lower intent leads, and then we built a personalized welcome flow to nurture those customers who were able to capture with the lead pop-up form here. So basically, by doing this, we were able to push personalized content for these people, but going into that in the next step, because at this point they didn't have a personalized welcome flow. People were just going to the list through the questionnaire, but there was no nurture flow for those leads who were coming from the front end, who were a little bit lower intended. Also, they didn't have personalized questionnaire abandonment flows, so they were losing a lot of high intent leads. They had questionnaire abandonment flow, but it wasn't as robust, and there wasn't a segment for all of these key treatment categories separately. Also, they didn't have these long post-purchase flows, so they were missing a lot of onboarding and expectation setting opportunities, but also they were missing a lot of cross-sell and upsell opportunities as well. Then they didn't have any kind of win-back flow to capture those patients who churn. So when somebody canceled the treatment, they didn't have a good flow there in place. They didn't have that segmented between different categories either. Then there was also no kind of longer term win-back flow that tried to reconvert those customers month and two down the line. And how we fix this? Again, multiple steps on the flow side. First of all, we built the welcome flows and questionnaire abandonment flows, and then we adapted these flows, personalized these flows based on the patient's health goal that we had collected in the previous steps. So for longevity customers, as an example, we did longevity focused welcome flow, and then for longevity questionnaire abandoners, we did same thing for weight loss, same thing for TRT and all the other treatments. And if you want to go deeper into the actual structure of how to build a high converting questionnaire abandonment flow as a telehealth brand, I have a video on exactly that. You can watch it from here. We'll link it into the video as well. So go ahead and watch it on your time. But in this video, I'm not going to spend the whole 30 minutes talking about that only. Then the second part, post-purchase flows. This one allows for expectation setting, retention, cross-sells and upsells. So we had, again, segmented this for all these different treatment categories. So for each category, we basically had a long, up to 30 day, up to 45 day onboarding flow. For some clients, we go as far as like 120 days. But at this point, we just went for like a 30 to 45 day, really robust onboarding flow, containing like patient onboarding, education, shipping and transactional updates, also like milestone check-ins, review requests, social proof, satisfaction surveys, all this kind of stuff allowed us to kind of get the patient journey started on the right foot, which eventually is the best. Onboarding is the best retention as well. So that was something that we were able to do straight away after starting with them. And then the next point after the onboarding, after that customer and patient satisfaction had been kind of taken care of a little bit, after that we focused on adding upsell flows to multi-month plans. So basically upselling customers who are on a monthly plan into the multi-month plans to be able to front-load revenue, outspend other competitors on ads, and obviously also increase retention because these customers are more locked in for a longer time. And then obviously on top of that, also cross-selling to complementary treatments. Those are the flows we also did. So for example, from longevity products, you can cross-sell to some of the weight loss products. From weight loss, like GLP-1s, you can cross-sell to NAD or peptides or TRT or these kind of things. And same thing we made logically. We logically built these flows. So from all the categories, all the treatments, there was the next logical path, another complementary potential treatment. And then obviously win-back flows as well. What we did there, we started re-engaging patients who stopped refilling, and we collected data and personalized the journey based on their cancellation reason. So somebody might cancel because of price, somebody might cancel because they didn't reach their goals, somebody didn't like the support or they didn't receive support that they were supposed to receive. We collected the data on the front end, and then based on that we were able to personalize the flow, handle their specific objections, and increase the conversions from that flow. Because why let a patient go that you already paid so much to acquire when they might have just needed to feel heard or just gotten a reminder of, hey, we exist, why you need us, and so on. And in this case, this change on the win-back flow side and personalizing this flow based on the cancellation reasons and treatments, led to adding tens of thousands of recorded sales per month for the brand. So pretty significant stuff again. Now step number 4, campaigns. This is where you engage your most loyal patients. And what was broken in this case? Obviously, maybe I would say this is where you engage your most loyal patients, but also your most hottest prospects and then also the lapsed customers in certain case. But anyways, what was broken at the starting point? They didn't have a data-driven approach. They were just sending X amount of campaigns, like whenever they had time to write something, but there was no feedback loop on how it was working, how you could improve it month over month, or anything like that. Most conversion relied on manual campaigns, which is obviously not scalable. And then due to those issues, I would say there was stagnant growth and no strategic direction in how to take this to the next level. Again, how we started fixing this: we created 12 data-driven newsletters per month. We made a full performance analysis after each month, looking into what were the highest converting angles, what were the underperforming angles, and then how can we learn from those and implement the next month's calendar to double down on the ones that worked and then kind of do less of those that didn't work so well. And then using this data to keep the feedback loop going every month, improving campaign results per month. That's the goal. The content pillars we utilize, just as a side note, for telehealth mainly. There's at least these types of emails. So there's educational emails, there's social proof emails, engagement focused emails, treatment showcases, there's problem agitation solution emails, a little bit more copywriting, belief shifting and stuff like that. Then there's super simple emails, which are kind of like just these hero section reminders that this brand exists for the most hottest leads, just to like nudge them to actually go to purchase. Then re-engagement campaigns to win back these lapsed patients. Then VIP/active patient campaigns to kind of empower, educate and nurture those who are already on the treatment and keep those people satisfied with you. Them well on their way in improving the results that they are looking for. And then number 9, promotions and offers whenever applicable. So those are pretty much the key content pillars we focus in the campaign side for. And now at this point, since we've been working with the client for a while, the campaigns are driving 30 to 40% of conversions, of total email conversions on the CRM side. And then the automations handle the heavy lifting. So automations are bringing pretty much to the rest of like 60 to 70% every month, which means obviously less manual work, more consistent results. And then every single month, the campaigns bring you that 1/3 or so of the revenue. Now, what else did this brand have as a problem? Their problem wasn't just a strategy problem. Their previous agency simply didn't understand telehealth, the patient journey. They were kind of like e-commerce agency who just did e-commerce things, but didn't really understand what is the difference of doing this for healthcare providers. They required constant hand-holding, and the founders spent 10 plus hours per week micromanaging the email work just to make sure that everything is on brand, everything is working to a degree at least, and everything is kind of running as usual. But there was like zero data-driven approach to actually improving month over month. And what's the difference with us? Obviously, we work almost exclusively with telehealth brands. So this is one of the reasons why we were able to pick it up so fast and make the results so fast. We understand how telehealth works. We understand the patient journey. We understand the difference between e-commerce, traditional D2C versus telehealth, healthcare marketing. We 3x the conversions in 3 months by pulling these key strategic growth levers that we already know because of our telehealth expertise. We saved the founders 10 plus hours per week to focus on core business while improving results. So results improved while they also were able to spend less time on it themselves. So it was a win-win on both fronts there. And obviously we achieved constant data-driven improvement, which eventually looked something like this. So in 3 months, we pretty much 3x their conversions from email. Here you can see from February to April. Now, if you want similar results, and obviously as an email marketing agency that understands the telehealth game, we are the one that can help you here. So if you're looking for similar results yourself, then click the first link in the description to book your call. I'm going to be able to audit your full setup, give you personalized recommendations and personalized roadmap on how can we take you from this, let's say, average level to the next premium lifecycle marketing level. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.